In today's episode, we're happy to welcome Mike Kessel, CEO of Cleveland Clinic Canada and 2024 award winner as Canada's most admired CEO. In this episode, we'll be talking about quality longevity, how to take control of your own health journey, and advancements in virtual care. And we might just touch on Mike's table tennis background. Mike, welcome to the Totum Wellness Podcast. Awesome to have you here.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Stacy, for asking me to be here. This is really exciting.
Our pleasure. And what the world wants to know is, because of your table tennis background, were you inspired by Marty Supreme?
That's a great question. So I actually saw it 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
Amazing movie. I thought he did a great job acting in it.
We loved it. We took the whole family. Our kids loved it. Everybody loved it. Yeah. We're very inspired.
Did he look legit?
Yeah. So honestly, I thought he did. I thought he looked great. And you probably heard, I think he trained like 7-8 years in table tennis.
I did not hear that.
I didn't know that.
He's amazing.
Yeah. So he did a lot. From what I understand, a lot of those scenes, they were him. And he kind of upskilled.
Wow.
And he looked great, by the way. And as you know, I mean, he's a very talented actor. So he could pull that piece off.
So your history in table tennis is long-ish. So you tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah. And it'll probably dovetail in, which I know you're probably going to want to know more about cardiac smash.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
So I grew up and my mom, my dad, and my brother in Chicago, Illinois, in a suburb called Deerfield. And my dad actually was a Chicago Public League table tennis champion growing up.
Wow.
So one day when I was very young, probably 7, 8, or 9, something like that, he said, "Hey, we're going to get a table in the basement." It got set up in the basement, and he taught me how to play, which was incredible. And then I got too good, because what I would do, like Forrest Gump, I'd put the table against the wall, and I just keep hitting against the wall with myself. I'm like, this is great. I'd invite friends over. Turns out I was too good.
Right.
So
you're no fun to play against.
I know, right? So I would destroy them. I'm like, "Hey, come on over, Josh." Josh was like, "I'm not coming over. Like, that was not fun. You just killed me." So I got so good that my dad literally, he's like, "Hey, Mike, we're going to take you around the USA, and you're going to compete, and you're going to get a ranking and points in the USTTA, which stands for the United States Table Tennis Association. Just like in the US, there's tennis, which is the USTA. This is the USTTA." And he would drive me to tournaments all over the country. And so I'd get points each place that I'd kind of win,
right, when you
win. Or however I did. And those were just great times with my dad and seeing like what I can do.
That's
and then
fantastic. Fast
forward probably 40 years when I moved to this country in 2009, I was lucky enough to kind of join the Volunteer Heart and Stroke Board. And I was at a board meeting. I said, I'm kind of more of a grassroots guy. Like, I love really getting in the community. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to marry my passions, kind of healthcare and helping people, and table tennis. And they looked at me cross-eyed at the board meeting, like, what are you thinking? And I'm like, I'm going to start Canada's largest philanthropic corporate ping pong challenge. So I'm proud to say 9 years later, we've done it in, obviously, Toronto every year, Montreal, and Vancouver as well. Post-COVID, just Toronto. We have basically 60 companies, the companies that that you work with, right? 4 players per company, 240 players from 5 o'clock to 10 o'clock at night, once a year at the Rec Room here in Toronto.
Oh, man.
And,
so fun.
Right? Really neat. So we have a competitive and recreation bracket, and people come from all over, and we've raised close to $2 million in close to 10 years now.
Wow.
For heart and stroke
Good
researchers.
Wow.
And Ontario Brain Institute now. I got to plug them as well, because I'm now on their volunteer board.
That's fantastic. Yeah. And I think maybe this is going to be your biggest year yet after this movie, right? And this resurgence of table tennis.
So it's funny you say that, because one of the things I'm trying to do, and historically I've gotten some celebrities, athletes, that kind of thing. But I've heard that Drake is a very good ping pong player.
Wow.
Perfect.
So I'm
one.
trying to get
stay
Drake.
tuned
Yeah, I don't think I could get Marty Supreme himself.
Right.
But
right.
Drake, I would love an introduction
God,
to.
You're going to be hanging with Drizzy.
Yeah, right.
Our kids would be very impressed with that.
Right.
And I guess the other important thing is, have you ever hustled anyone with ping pong? Did you make any good money?
Just like Marty Supreme, right? That was good. Yeah, you know, it's funny. I haven't. People have approached me and have said, it's funny, there's actually a managing partner of a law firm here in Toronto, and everyone knows the firm. And this individual, when I came to Canada, said, "Oh, I told him I played table tennis growing up." He goes, "Well, I did too, and I can beat you." So I literally went to his firm, okay, and he brought like his firm there, like literally watching him and I play.
Wow.
And I destroyed him.
Nice. Good job. I'm happy to hear
and
that.
He's like, "You just embarrassed me in front of my partners
Perfect.
and my associates." I'm like, "Well,
that's on him.
That's on him."
Yeah.
But the funniest part of the story is he called me up last year and he says, "Okay, Kessel, you're in trouble now." I said, "Why?" He's like, "Come here to my office again on like July 15th. I'm like, "All right." So he wound up hiring an associate that played. Literally, he's from Asia, and they, as you know, folks in China, it's
bigger
the sport
there.
like hockey is here.
Yes.
And a really awesome kid that was an intern at this firm.
God, amazing.
That played competitive table tennis and won like one of the provinces in China or something, and played in university, and basically is very, very high level. I was nervous. Okay. It turns out I lost. Okay. But I actually did pretty well. Everyone was surprised how close I kept it.
That's awesome. Okay, what a great story.
This is a great segue into longevity.
Yeah.
Because somehow you have managed to maintain all these years, and you're, transitioning into pickleball, which is also really exciting. What do you think are the main things health-wise that have allowed you to continue this fabulous career through racket sports?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's funny. I mean, me and myself, everyone's got different things, right? I think one big thing is making it part of your life, right? So the focus and discipline, and put health first, right? And that's really, really important. When you go on the airplane, they prep you and they say, "Look, God forbid if something bad happens, then you got to go for the oxygen mask yourself. Then you help the rest of your family and friends, right?" So I view my own health as a big asset. So I have to keep my mind and my body healthy. So I personally, I do a bunch of things for my own health. I do resistance training with this place called Super Slow, where I lift heavy weights slowly for 16 years for 30 minutes once a week.
Good
right?
For you.
With fans blowing on me, all this stuff, because there's a lot of data that says it could help manage neurocognitive decline. And then, as you guys know, you're the experts in here, you want to hang on to your muscle.
You do.
Right? You got to hang on to your muscle. So that's one thing I do. I meditate every other day for 10 minutes, which is important. As you highlighted, I play competitive pickleball quite a bit. That gets me going. I'll do the Peloton or I'll jog. And the last thing I'll do yoga, instructed yoga once a week. And I try to do it once or twice a week at home, but it's really, really tough. So those are the big things for me from an aging perspective. And, I would say lastly, I mean, a lot of people know that 75% of your health is determined by your lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And when you hit age 60, it's actually 90% of your health is lifestyle, not genetics. And so that was ingrained in me probably 25 to 30 years ago from a mentor.
That's great.
And I live by it.
Obviously, and it's working for you.
I'm trying.
Which is fantastic.
It fits. There's a recent Harvard study that came out about variety.
Yeah.
So you've got amazing variety in the activities that you do.
Fantastic.
Yeah, trying.
Which everyone should have. Cardio variety, exercise, or resistance variety, mobility.
Yeah.
And plus you've got this competitive fun element with pickleball now, which most people don't have. Most people stop playing their sport or their fun thing early and never pick it up again. But you're doing a different one now, but it's still a racket sport and fits your
100%. I think that's, by the way, one of the most important things is it's got to fit the person. Everyone's different.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's got to fit the person.
Well, and we try to encourage people that are starting with us that haven't had activities, don't go by what you've read as the thing that you're supposed to do. What do you think is going to be the most fun? And if they say to us rock climbing, okay, well, we're not going to be able to help you with that, but we will at some point be able to help you train. Go rock climb. Go do the thing that you think is going to be fun. And if it's going to be, that's going to start you on the right track. And eventually you'll want to do something else and get your variety on.
Like that's great advice. And you build it into your life, right? In terms of what you're doing. And it's, it's really helped me. And there's a whole other stuff, a bunch of things I'm sure we'll talk about, like, social networks, really, really important. Some of these other things like sleep, et cetera, and stress management. Those are also really, really, really important.
But one of the things to highlight today is sort of helping people understand whether they can take control of their own health. Don't abdicate the responsibility to a medical doctor or what have you. How, you're the CEO at the Cleveland Clinic Canada. What do you and your team do to help people, or do you believe in that? Number one, and if you do, then how do you help them?
Yeah, look, I mean, the reality is we have a huge focus globally and domestically in this country on aging and prevention and wellness. What can you be doing with your own body to basically not just stay alive, but live, as the moniker right now is, kind of healthy years, right? Because I think there's plus or minus about a 10-year gap right now about you may live chronologically until you're 83, 82 years old. But how many of those years are actually good, high quality years? And I think
healthspan, lifespan, we have those conversations, which is great.
Absolutely. And so I think the big things that we kind of preach, if you will, like number one, like cardiometabolically, right? Like you want to basically have like your blood pressure controlled long-term. You want to have all your sugar levels controlled long-term. You want to have as minimal inflammation in your body as possible, right? Those are really, really important for long-term health, and it's got to be sustainable. So that's something we help basically patients with, if you will. And the other thing, quite frankly, and you guys, this is right in your sweet spot, is muscle and strength.
Lean body mass and strength.
Right? And aerobic capacity.
Yeah.
So understanding what's your VO2 max, right? Understanding how much muscle you have, right? And kind of building up from there is critically important. I'd say the last thing, or the third thing I think that our team helps with would be some of these other really important things like sleep and stress management.
Yeah.
Understanding how well you're sleeping, what's the quality of your sleep, understanding stress, because that's the biggest age increaser in one's life is kind of stress, if you will. I've heard numbers up to 42 years off your life. Stress can basically take, which is a big, big deal.
That's a big number.
Right? It's a huge number. And then, I mean, look, finally, I mean, at the end of the day, it's so critically important to have friends and have people that you can talk to.
Network.
Right? And I've heard 3, 4, 5 years is what it could add to your life, having that humans want to belong.
Yeah.
Right?
And connect.
And so those are the things our team basically works on, I would say. Our registered dietitians, our exercise physiologists, our psychologists, our psychotherapists, our nurses, our physicians. That's, I would say, where the interprofessional model of care comes together, right? All around the patient and is customized to them. And I think, for those that may think you're doomed to your genetics, like we would argue, you're not.
I'm interested. So I would say, based on what you described, you're kind of living the very ideal, you've checked all the boxes on everything, assuming that you sleep well and assuming that your nutrition is good. Are you getting tested then yearly? Is that you're going through the full thing every year?
Great question. It's a great question. I would say this. A lot of this is age dependent, right? And it's also, like you mentioned, like family history. It is still family history dependent. So for example, for me, my grandfather, unfortunately, Eli, amazing guy. I never really knew him. He passed away when I was very, very young. He was a pharmacist in Chicago, and he was my mom's father. Passed away of a massive MI, heart attack at the age of 59.
Wow.
So yeah, I've got that on my mind, like cardiovascular disease.
Sure.
Of course.
Right. So someone like me, absolutely. Like when I started to hit, call it age 40, I'm like, I'm making sure I'm getting the preventive, proactive medicals, if you will. Right. Those are really important to me because I want to know what can I do? Like I'm not doing my genetics. Like I'm not 59 yet, but I'm going to minimize my risk. And I want to know, for example, what's my Framingham risk score? Right. I want to know what's a chance that I'm going to die of a heart attack or a stroke over the next 10 years. And I want to make sure my numbers are obviously under 10% and lower. Right. But the medicals that I do, yes, typically every year, that gives me that data that I need. Right. And then as you both know, like, which is crazy for the audience out there, like medical knowledge is actually doubling every 73 days.
Wow.
What?
So things that we couldn't do 4 months ago, like, you can now do now.
Wow.
And you hear in the news and everything, things like artificial intelligence, quantum computing. Like these things are coming to fruition now. Yeah. And the amount of data is unbelievable. And I think for the people listening, I think the big things with the medicals, if you will, it's an opportunity for you to be an N of one. Yeah. Right. So, you guys see a lot of clients, right? Yeah. We also do. And it's an opportunity to basically go one-on-one, right? Rather than as the population, if you will. Sure, we're going to use evidence and we're going to infuse it with evidence, and they're going to be based on studies and research so we don't harm people, right? But at the end of the day, these medicals, I think, are a chance to personalize for an N of one. And so we can relate to the individual. We really listen, whether it's a doctor or a nurse or a technician or a phlebotomist or an exercise physiologist. They're all listening and they care about you, and they want to customize things for you.
I think it's fantastic.
So you see a lot of executives with your business. So presumably these are high achievers. There's lots of stress in their professional lives, sometimes in their personal lives as well. So being able to give them data, because lots of times they are data people. They need the information. You give them, they have their annual medical. Yeah. Maybe there's some devices that they're wearing now to give them more personalized. You've got a Whoop device. You've got these ultra-human rings. Yeah. These, again, are the personalization of that medicine. So it's not I eat a steak once a week, and so then your risk goes up by 3% or 8% or whatever it might be for a cardiovascular event by age, whatever. Because you don't think of the world like that. But if you know that your inflammatory markers are through the roof because you're eating too much of this thing, whatever that thing is, wow, what a game changer for decision making and empowering someone to make change.
Absolutely. I mean, I couldn't say it better than you just said it. Look, you got to see reactive protein that's higher than what it should be, and you're a lot of inflammation in your body. Like, you're going to want to do something about that, right? Yeah. And I think these devices are amazing.
Yeah, we do too. We just started on them, and it's interesting to your point when you were talking about something. The one thing that I've noticed in our age range, I'm 57, Tim's 58. Is that right?
48.
Right. Yeah.
I thought you were both 38.
Yeah. Right. Anyhow, so to exactly what you're saying. Things on the outside can look just fine. And we just did a deep dive on genetic testing. Yeah. We got these rings. We did advanced blood work. Yeah. We did the hormonal panels. Both of us, for the first time ever, are like, my cholesterol was too high. Yeah. Our LDL was too high. So the bad fats were too high. Yeah. And had we not done that testing, we would have made no changes. But the fact that we did it, all of a sudden our diet changed. We're fortunate. We know what to do to make the changes. But so, all you could go online and in 5 minutes find out, how do I get my cholesterol down? And you would get now pretty decent advice, right? Through AI and all this, which is great. So I think you need an awareness of what's happening inside, because looking from the outside doesn't tell you the whole picture.
You got it. I mean, that's exactly what it is. And by the way, if you notice, like, especially in Canada as well, I mean, US has their way, Canada's got its way, but what I'm definitely seeing is number one, like personalization, like an N of
Yes.
one.
Yeah.
Number two, in this whole world of consumerism and like B2C, business to consumer, you're seeing a lot of people out there in like a distributed healthcare methodology trying to empower you with information. So yeah, or Whoop, all these other Garmin, et cetera, are trying in a positive way, giving us information about their body, blood work, right? Coming, phlebotomists coming to your home, nurses coming to your home, giving you this.
Fabulous.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
So I'm highly supportive of this. And I think it's going to make us more empowered health consumers, because I do firmly believe, and I may be naive in saying this, I do think like at times people think it's the healthcare system that's like 100% responsible, right? And it's not.
It's a good point.
It really should be 50-50,
we are responsible.
right? Like we're the owners.
Yes.
I'm okay. I'll take half the responsibility and I'll do my thing.
For sure.
But if maybe some of the time I got some issues that need true multidisciplinary care or a surgical procedure or something else, if you will, that I need the technology and the resources that are part of a large academic health science center, that you need to go get, an MRI or a CT. Sure. It's there if you need it. But a lot of our health, as I mentioned, and you guys know better than me. I mean, we control our health. So I do like the direction that this is heading, with information coming in, and we can do what we want with it. And I do think you're going to see a lot more distributed healthcare. So it's not just in like bricks and mortar.
Yeah, a center. Yeah, agreed.
Right? And you see it, which I know we'll talk about a little bit later with virtual care.
Yeah.
But I do think you're going to see a completely distributed model where people don't have to go to Emerge.
Right.
People don't have to go to these
can be great.
expensive real estate structures.
Yes.
Especially in Toronto, rent is not cheap. So if you could start to take out the cost of real estate from healthcare, I'm talking globally, right? You could actually bring down the cost of healthcare pricing. You could save everybody some money, right?
Do you find, if you compared your typical client of 2010 to 2026, is this N of one approach that you're now talking about, is that helping them make their own decisions and sort of change their habits to be more positive?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I think back to, that's funny. If you think back to 2010, I mean, I would say the difference between back then and now would be, number one, 110%, all of the practitioners. I mean, with us, I'm sure with you get your best ideas from your patients and your clients.
Yes.
So whether it's women's health programming, okay, or enhanced screening programs, or as you mentioned, maybe genetics, like all these programs and services, to be honest, they come from the patient.
Yeah.
Right.
Mental health.
Right. Mental health is a great example.
That was a big increase recently, the conversation. And we realized that if we're not addressing that, then how am I fixing your blood pressure?
100%.
Right? So yeah, it's interesting. So they're leading the trends of what you guys are testing and what you're doing, which is fantastic.
Absolutely. And back to that question, I would say, Tim, I mean, 100%, like now people have more information about their body than they ever had. And I think, to be honest, I think they're more interested. And I think they're more interested because, there's this wave of the Andrew Hubermans, these great, intelligent people that are health educators that are literally out there.
For listeners, Mike's pointing at Stacy and I.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, there you go. Right. But it's true, right? And people are reading the books, listening to the podcasts. And I do think healthcare in general is more pervasive. So it's out there and it's transparent. And people, and as we all know, there's that big baby boomer generation that's gliding through life.
Right.
And they're saying, look, I want this, I want that. It's like, all right, okay, we're going to help figure it out. And they're trying to move things, right, to this more empowered individual. So I would 110% say today versus 10, 15 years ago, patients have more information. They've basically helped innovate, right? And they want to control more today, their future, than they did 10, 15 years ago.
The three of us sitting here, in a way, we're examples of people who are on one extreme of this.
Yeah.
And then the three of us, genuinely care about the health of our society.
Of course.
Because a healthier country is a better place.
Yes.
We're not spending as much money on Band-Aid fixes. And one other really interesting point about this whole area is a lot of ER doctors that we've worked with recently are leaving the ER and they're going more into this lifestyle type of medicine. And it's been such an interesting conversation that we've had with them because I said, why? And the answer is that the ER is too stressful. And I feel like my day is putting Band-Aids on things that won't get fixed. And I'm going to see the same person in, a couple weeks later with the same problem. It's going to get worse because I don't have the capacity to fix it. How do you think we shift, to share this information to more people?
To be honest, we are lucky that we're in Canada.
Right.
And
yeah.
Some people may say, well, hold on, why are you lucky? At times I've got challenges
I agree.
accessing care.
Yeah.
Right. Because as you know, a couple of things. There's 40 million people in this country. The average age is 60.
Right.
When Tommy Douglas created the system in the 40s and 50s, the average age was 40.
Yes.
Because we know
very different.
the human body, it ages.
Yeah.
Right. It's just kind of how it is. So I would say that's number one. It's very interesting. I'd say number two, that's also very interesting with our system is it is a single payer system, which is, I actually think it's a pro and a con, just like with anything, right? So it's unique, right? It's a very unique system. Now, the great thing about a single payer system is it's really one insurer, one insurance company that has people that are maybe healthier than others and all wide range of this. But the reality is that the government does have a big say in healthcare.
Yes.
That's kind of how it is. And it's at times calling the shots, right?
Yeah. And the voters.
And the voters.
Right?
Great. They say that.
Yeah.
Because what technically, you could see the government focusing as well on prevention.
Yes.
On wellness.
Yes.
And on aging. And by the way, I've seen commercials that have been on TV that have been aired by the government, right?
Yes.
And the Ministry of Health. I'll go plural with all 10 provinces, 3 territories, but I'm in Ontario. We're in Ontario right now, so I'll talk about Ontario. So I actually think the government could do an even better job.
Yeah.
Of promoting basically health, overall health and wellness, and doing these things such as, can you walk 30 minutes a day, right? Can you add 30 minutes to your sleep, right?
Yes.
Schedule. Can you do some of these things? A lot of them is, there is some effort that's involved. There is. But do you want to be, I always tell people this, I think we collectively, we're in the memory making business. I really believe that. So if you're in healthcare, our job is to help people create more memories with their family and their friends. You got to broaden out the sector.
It's a great way to look at it.
And that's what we do. And I think there's a role for everyone to participate in that.
So we think that the government should get on board. We have talked to politicians. Many of them are our clients. I'm sure you have many conversations with them as well. And what we often hear is that their election cycle, the results will never come in their election cycle if they talk about prevention. And because we know prevention is a long-term goal, right? And I think that's why politically it can be a very difficult straight uphill climb to try to get any funding for that or those types of things. What we have noticed here, and it's probably impacted you, it's impacted our business a lot, is this transition between public and private. And now that there's many surgeries coming out of the public into the private, and that you can pay to have, your knee, your ACL repaired. You can pay for various things. And I know that Cleveland Clinic has kind of moved into this space. How is that going? Do you think that that's been successful?
Yeah, it's a good question. So our strategy globally, quite frankly, is to complement the system in a meaningful way, not compete against it.
Right.
So here in particular, right, with the public system. So I would say, so we offer publicly funded services like, like
Yes.
sports medicine, cardiology, dermatology, orthopedics, x-ray, ultrasound, bone density, mammo. You just need in this province, an OHIP card and a referral from a family medicine doc,
Right.
and we'll see you.
That's
right?
great.
Which is great.
Great to know.
Right? Which is great. And really, really, really important. I think with some of these licenses that they're giving out, like they're giving diagnostic imaging license out, right? Not in this province, a couple other provinces as well. And there's some other smaller orgs that are basically building and seeing orthopedic patients, hips, knees, that kind of, right?
Yes.
Which is great. I don't think they're mainstream right now.
They are not.
Right. Which is, I think, part of the challenge. And quite frankly, I think what's going to happen in the future, and has to happen, is I think it's going to be driven by the people, quite frankly, that are going to have to bring the politicians in and say, hey, look, this is what is needed.
Is there. Yeah.
And my hunch is, between the providers that are in it right now, right, and between the patients, I think at the end and the government all kind of working together, I think the deciding factor, quite frankly, is going to be, like, we're taxpayers, the three of us, right? And you have your own business. I'm employed. I work for someone, and we all pay taxes. And I think what's happened over the many years is taxes have incrementally gone up for all of us as citizens, and a big piece of that is our healthcare system. Right.
Yeah.
So I think what you're probably going to see is, as taxes go up, I think there's going to be more and more demands from all of our elected leaders to consider, say, hey, look, if you could bring me a proposal,
right,
where I'm going to do a total knee replacement and it costs $1 versus, it's costing us $2 right now, I think you're going to get people's attention.
I agree.
And my hunch is, I think you'll see that in the future, because there's people, we're all investing in our healthcare system with our pocketbook as taxpayers.
Yes.
Right? So I do think you're going to see it. I think we as Cleveland Clinic Canada, we're always looking for opportunities to work with the government.
Great.
Or we're always looking for opportunities, as you know, just focus on the patient. What's the best thing for the patient?
Right.
And if there are complementary things that we could be doing with other academic health science centers, with community hospitals, with the government, with Ministry of Health, plural, we're always interested in that.
When I think that, moving towards this virtual care idea, so, as a silver lining from COVID, which there aren't a lot of, but there are some, this idea of being able to take care of people over a video call, it sounds, based on what you've been mentioned earlier, is there's going to be more of that, because people want it, right? It's easier for them not to leave their house. There's convenience with it. And so how does that sort of play into your strategy?
Show us your cool kit that you brought.
I've got a cool kit, right? So I'll take you a little bit on the evolution of virtual care. You're right. It really picked up during COVID. And we were all forced basically to say, hey, this makes sense. Like, for hospitals managing capacity, and like, you need to have some type of option, right?
Yes.
And I actually think a number of the employers, I think, did a good job of attaching, right, to some of these virtual care providers, if you will. I think insurers, like the supplemental insurers also did a really nice job of kind of attaching to some of these virtual care providers, if you will.
Yep.
And I think the patients too, like the individuals, said, you know what, I'll give this a shot. And look, is it for everyone? No.
Yeah.
Right? Because you still have to lay hands on people a lot of time. Yeah. But there are certain things.
For certain things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like one good example in our business is nutrition.
Yeah.
So
that's a great example.
We need, for all the other things we do, it's hands-on. We need people in here. Nutrition? Absolutely not. It's a conversation. Why do you need to take up a room and, come park your car, pay for parking? what you're doing with the nutritionist, assuming you've had your blood work and all that done, you're having a conversation. It's so great virtually.
Absolutely.
Everybody loves it.
Absolutely. For movement and performance, like kind of what you guys are specialized in. I mean, yeah, that's an easy one to do. Whether you're talking to an exercise physiologist or a personal trainer to get all your exercises correct, like technically. I think that registered dietitian, exercise physiologist, personal trainer, those are all great options to use it. And for us, I would say we've been doing this now for 5 to 7 years in Canada, kind of a virtual care program, if you will. And about probably 60% of what we do in Canada is actually attached to an employer. So, which is great. So oftentimes an employer will fund some of these innovations, right?
That's great.
Individuals, of course, will fund it as well, but it gives you a chance at trying some different things out, if you will. And so virtual care on your phone, like we have it as well, right? And so we're in all 10 provinces and 3 territories. We've got a bevy of 30 to 40 nurse practitioners all over the country for licensure reasons in all 10 provinces, 3 territories, available literally 24/7. And one of the things we noticed was, with virtual care, most clinicians can only diagnose maybe close to 200 conditions. And as we know, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of diagnoses, if you will. So where the future is heading is humans, like we're talking about, taking more control of their health. So a tool that we basically started using, we back-end integrated these diagnostic devices, okay? And I call them devices, actually. I shouldn't call them diagnostic devices. I should call them kind of more health information about your body.
Got it.
That a human can basically go on to your phone virtually all over the country whenever you want, and you call up, and within a minute or two, a nurse practitioner will get on the phone and say, "Okay, Stacy, what's going on?" And you say, "Well, I just woke up with a sore throat." And you say, "Oh, okay." And so do me a favor, turn the device on. Okay. So this device will be turned on. And I don't know, for the viewers out there, if they could see, this is kind of the brain of the operation. And literally it tells you, they say, okay, now you could check your heart rate, you could check your temperature, you could check your skin, you could check your lungs, you could check your throat, you could check your ears. So you press throat like that. It tells you what to do. For the viewers out there, I don't know where the camera is. It tells you what to do. You attach this device. And just for the record, my 15-year-old uses this and my 81-year-old mom uses this.
Wow.
So it's pretty easy to use. You put on this disposable piece.
Oh my goodness.
You press start.
This is so cool.
Okay. Press start. And you go,
Wow. It's incredible.
And it gives you a green check. We basically captured a video. You press submit. It goes to our clinician then and there. And it'll show, hey,
that
look,
is so cool.
Whether it's your cardiac function, your lung function, or whether it's looking down your throat, the clinician can now properly make a diagnosis with additional information. And now we could diagnose up to 1,000 conditions.
Amazing.
Which is incredible.
Yeah.
We could try to keep you out of emerge. We could try to keep you out of maybe urgent care, which, as you know, we talked about earlier, they're expensive sites.
Yeah.
And
they're overwhelmed.
So how can we help the system?
Yeah.
And that's one way. So I think what you're going to see, technology is going to continue to evolve. I think you're going to see humans literally, like I just showed you.
So everybody would have this kit
in the right way.
Right.
Yeah.
So great question. So right now here in Canada, these kits are either purchased by individuals, and they're not that expensive, quite frankly.
What are they?
So this thing one time is probably $300-400.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. And there's also like leasing and all that kind of stuff. It's got Health Canada approval. Okay. Which is really, really important. They're also in corporations. So a 50 square foot room with a monitor. You can go in. They're in schools, like George Brown here has one in the student union where go into a booth and you self-schedule. They're in real estate towers, like Fitzrovia here is a big purpose-built rental company. They've got, I think, 7 or so towers in Toronto. You go in, the 300 to 400 unit holders, into a 50 to 100 square foot room. You close the door, you self-schedule. The stuff is disposable. You go in, you go out. From a safety perspective, it's great. And you get your health need taken care of. So I think back to our discussions of 50% me, and 50% the system.
Right.
These are tools that will help aid the clinicians out there, our clinicians as well, make diagnostic kind of decisions, if you will, right? Interpret the data where you don't have to go
in person.
Mhm.
in person.
Yeah.
And it also, like,
So
because
great.
of the wearable technology becoming so pervasive
Yeah.
in just the
Yeah, we're
consumer
gonna
market,
have
right? With the
so
rings and the
much.
whoops and this, that,
That's
and
right.
whatever, something like this little kit doesn't seem so space age anymore.
Mhm.
So if you took all the wearable technology out
Yeah.
and you showed somebody this, you'd be like, ooh,
Yeah.
that's kind of scares me. But
Yeah.
it's not like that anymore because we all have these, the ability to have these, like every phone has steps on it now. Everyone's
The
got a phone.
data. And
Yeah.
I think too,
Yeah, you're
years
right,
ago, before the pandemic, we were having a lot of conversations about electronic medical records,
Yeah.
and everyone was struggling, and everyone was saying, I use this and this one's clunky, and there were a
Yeah.
million things.
Yeah.
I would say this year would be one of the first years where I've noticed that it's a lot more seamless than it used to be, where I can say to my patient, please get your radiology report. Send me your radiology report.
Yeah.
Don't bring me in your disc
Yeah.
with your CT scan
Right.
on it because it's just going to crash my computer.
right.
And I don't even really know what I'm
100%.
looking at on that. And
Plug for Pocket Health. Use Pocket Health. Right?
exactly.
It's easy.
And so I would say finally we've kind of hit a really good space with all this, with all these wearables, because with the wearables, we've started with these ultra human rings. Now, even Tim and I are having conversations at home about heart rate variability. And what was your score? And
That's
what
right.
happened last night? And what was your temperature? And the dog was barking, and that screwed up our
Yeah.
readings. And I think that as we all get more and more used to it and using this language, I could then go in to see a physician and say, my sleep has been this. I'm not saying I'm a good sleeper. I'm saying I'm using real words to say, I'm averaging 8 hours a night. I'm averaging deep sleep. Like
Right.
we now have a language which is very exciting and very different that will help a diagnostician be able to give way better advice to someone
Absolutely.
and figure things out.
Absolutely. 100% right. And look, we all know this. It's also at the same time, the world has become more immediate gratification. Like I want
Exactly.
results now. I want this right now. And I think some of this also, I think all humans, we have to remind ourselves that, these lines of personal, work, family, like they're gone. Like,
Yeah.
True.
and so technologies like cell phones have kind of eradicated that.
Absolutely.
Text messaging,
Yeah.
Even work at times, right? We know it's like 24/7. And
Yeah.
so I think, as humans, we have to remember that we do need balance,
Yeah.
right? And you have to literally, whatever you want to do, whether it's meditation or just go into a room, listen to some music, or spend some time with your loved one. And I think that's what's going to be needed now and in the future, because the world is throwing a lot at us right now.
Last question for you.
Yeah.
If you could give one piece of advice to an individual about how they can take more control of their health journey, what would it be?
Yeah. I mean, look, I know you guys are, I'm very disciplined. Right. And so I would say, and you share this a little bit already, Tim, I would say build these behaviors into your life and make it fun first, like things that you love to do. So I'm measuring, for example, of course, my strain, right, provided by Whoop when I play pickleball. Okay. And I used to be much more of a jogger. We talked about this already. And I would jog outside for 45 minutes. Doesn't matter what the weather is. And I would notice that my strain is like how hard my heart is working from a 12 to 15 scale on my Whoop device. Okay. And like, I'm fine with jogging, but I wouldn't describe it as fun.
It's not fun.
It's just not fun, right?
You're outside. It's pretty sometimes, but it's not fun.
Right. And I get maybe at times it may not be great on your joints. And what actually may be worse on your joints is pickleball. Right.
Right.
So, but I found pickleball and I started to measure, like we were talking on my device. I'm like, oh my God, like 2 hours of competitive pickleball is the same 12 to 15 strain scale
Wow.
as jogging. Like that doesn't even make sense.
That's your pickleball, though, to be clear.
Right. That's right.
It's
That's right.
different.
It is my pickleball. But I do bring it up because
I love it.
that's my fun.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying go play pickleball. What I'm saying is find your fun and build it in as part of the fabric of your life. And that will, like you said earlier, is like natural kind of health benefits. And it's worked for me. I think it could work for others. So it almost feels like you're not taking care of your cardiovascular health, but you are, right? So make it fun. And I know you guys do that here at Totum, which is great. But that's what I would do.
Okay, speaking of fun, I feel like you got a message on your phone.
Yeah.
So what was the message
you're
that
so
you got?
funny, Stacey. Yeah. So because remember, I'm a racket sport guy, and I picked up pickleball 3 years ago. And last year was the first year I competed in the US Open in pickleball. So I go to Naples, right? Figures, and there's like 64 courts there. And I think I mentioned last year I was playing next to Yvonne Lendl, which is crazy. The guy's like an icon and incredible. So when I came here to do this podcast, I got an email that said, you are in to the US Open Pickleball in 2026. So I was thrilled. So I'm going to be competing mixed with my female partner and men's with my male partner in a couple events in April this year.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, thank you.
Congratulations.
So awesome.
And it's Naples again.
Naples, Florida. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And so that's proof that your fun could turn into something even bigger.
Absolutely.
This is amazing.
Absolutely. And
I love it.
now, from doing this so much, as you know, and I know you can imagine with all your clients as well, what can I be doing preventatively, right, is what I do, whether it's post, hot, cold therapy or compression work, for recovery. I'm spending a lot of time for myself on my musculoskeletal health.
Yeah, we should talk.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
after the show.
Post match,
I like that.
Post match, it's not a beer and a smoke.
No.
Not like table tennis.
No, definitely. Not like table.
Curling.
So you could give that advice to Marty
curling.
Supreme. Timothy. No.
Mike, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course.
It's been awesome.
Yeah,
It was
thanks
a great
for
conversation.
having me. It's always nice seeing both of you.
You too.
Yeah.
Take care.
Okay.
Thanks for listening to the Totum Wellness Podcast. Please follow us on Apple, Google, or Spotify and leave a 5-star review and comment. Subscribe to us on our YouTube channel and please spread the word to family and friends.